qualified occupational therapist. I graduated from the University of Derby in November 2022, and I went and did some yoga teacher training in India in September 2022. And yeah, I've just recently got a job for South London and Maudsley NHS Trust, and I'll be doing a mental health rotation. And my first job will be in community mental health in Lambeth, which is South London. So I'm really excited. First job, and it's in mental health, which is something I'm really passionate about. So all very exciting. So yeah, I'm just going to give you a bit of a brief background. If I'm talking too fast, please just let me know. I'm aware we've only got 25-30 minutes, so yeah, please put any questions in the box, or feel free to send emails or whatever. So I've been practicing yoga for about probably 8 years, and my first introduction was it was during a recovery from chronic fatigue. I'd got a nasty virus and I was really poorly for about 6 months. And yeah, I went from being a really fit, healthy 22-year-old, very active, to someone who could barely walk across the room. I wasn't socializing. I couldn't do my job at the time. And my friend brought me along to a yoga class. And yeah, I've not looked back since, to be honest. It did kind of change my life at the time. And what I loved about it is that it took a real functional approach, and it was able to be adapted to suit my body at the time, which was a very fragile, tired shell. And yeah, it kind of gave me more energy, helped me to increase my endurance and strength, but also I was able to meet a lovely community of people and started to socialize again. So it really was like one of the best things I ever did at the time. And yeah, I've not looked back since. So that is my journey into yoga. Just going to move back to the other slide. Can you see these slides okay? Yeah, perfect. So what is yoga? Many of you might or might not be familiar with what yoga is, but in case you didn't know, it's an ancient spiritual practice. It originated in India over 5,000 years ago, and it goes far beyond the physical practice that so many of us might be familiar with, which is often in fancy, expensive studios with able-bodied people, usually tight leggings, doing questionable postures, which do not look very comfortable or safe. But it goes far beyond that, and it's it's a way of living, and it's there to help people reach their full potential, self-actualization, and higher self, which just screams OT to me. It's accessible to everybody, and this is something that I really want to stress. Yoga really is for everybody. It's regardless of age, gender, disability, location. My yoga teacher said to me, if you have a body, if you've got a mind, and if you've got a soul, you can do yoga. So I think everybody can do it. Yoga, it means union of the mind, body, and spirit. Again, very occupational therapy. And Patanjali, he was an ancient yogi scholar, and he defined yoga as the progressive settling of the mind into silence. And our essential nature is usually overshadowed by the activity of the mind. So I'm sure many of us are familiar with the mental chatter and monkey mind that we often have. And this causes us to, feel very stressed and anxious, and freezes our bodies, and it prevents us from engaging in things that we need to do every day. So only when the mind is still and peaceful can we achieve this union between our mind, body, and find that connection, and kind of realize our self-limiting identity that we usually have, both physically and mentally. Within the Yoga Sutra, which is an ancient yogic text, Patanjali, he created the eightfolded path, and it's known as the 8 limbs of yoga. And we follow this path to achieve this union between the mind, the body, and the spirit. And it really reminds me of the OT process, if I'm being honest. If I had more time, I'd really go into it and show you all the links, but I don't have time this morning. But yeah, to me, it really feels quite similar to occupational therapy. what it is essentially is a practical guide, and it helps us to reach our full potential, achieve mastery over the mind, find more connection within ourselves, and yeah, find more meaning and purpose in our lives, which is essentially what we do as occupational therapists. So this is the 8 limbs of yoga. Like I say, I'm not going to have time to go into them all today, but I'm just going to draw the attention to number 3, which is asana. And many of us are very familiar with the physical aspect of yoga, and through the physical postures, we're really able to merge movement with our breath, and that's the most important thing. And that's about creating more physical, mental, and emotional balance. Engaging in these physical postures with the breath, it helps us to gain the habit of discipline, concentration, bringing more awareness to our breath and sensations within our body. And it really helps us to prepare for meditation, which is really important in yoga. But however, any activity that we do that is combined with the flow of breath and is performed with mindfulness can be a form of meditation. And that just screams flow to me. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's concept of flow, which we often promote in occupational therapy when we're doing an activity, and we really can disconnect and be submerged in the activity. And that's what yoga is also about. So why did I want to do yoga and occupational therapy together? So both yoga and occupational therapy, they both help us to connect with our identity and our occupations through the act of doing, being, becoming, and belonging. Yoga is a therapeutic tool and has huge health benefits, both physically and mentally. There's more and more research coming out now about yoga used within practice. I think there's really good research on falls prevention, on stroke, issues for young people and old people with autism, ADHD. There's lots of research coming out, so it's a really exciting time for yoga and occupational therapy. It takes a functional and person-centered approach. It can help patients meet goals, enhance their functioning, well-being, and participation of everyday activities. It can be graded and adapted. We can use chairs, pillows, straps, books, anything that we need to use to help people get, into the posture and also participate in the activity. And it really does promote the just right challenge and the concept of flow. Yoga is both self-care leisure occupations, and it's meaningful and it's a therapeutic activity. So it's meaningful because it can be incorporated into life as a physical practice. It can be used for relaxation, building routine, healthy habits, identity and purpose, and therapeutic activity because it can be used to meet physical, psychological, and or spiritual needs. And when combined, both practices can promote nervous system regulation, flexibility, balance, proprioception, mobility, strength, endurance, pain management, respiratory health, sensory processing, and helps to reduce stress and anxiety. So there really is a lot of scope to use this within occupational therapy. And yeah, it's a really exciting time, I think, for it. So that's the reason why I wanted to do it. So before we move on to actually doing some chair yoga. Oh, what's that? Share on our screen. Yes. Sorry, I was just reading that. Yeah, I can put forward some of the research at the end, definitely, and send it to you. So yeah, I'm just going to bring your attention to number 4 here, which is pranayama. And in yoga, pranayama means breath control. And we use lots of different techniques in yoga to help establish a regular breathing pattern. And this helps to create oxygenation in the blood and circulation system, and really helps to calm the mind and increase our energy. So one of the main yogic breathing techniques that we use is abdominal breathing. So some of you may or may not be familiar with it. So yeah, we're just going to do a few rounds of abdominal breathing now. So you all can sit in a comfortable seated position. If I get rid of this slide. And you can just see me now, can't you? Yeah. So yeah, you may want to sit on a cushion or have a cushion propped behind your back just so that you're in a comfortable seated position. Want to keep the back straight and the spine lengthened. And just, yeah, bring your feet hip width distance apart. Hands can be placed onto the knees here. Relax the shoulders. And just, yeah, bring the shoulders down, relax the face. You can close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And we just want to start drawing our focus downwards and bringing some awareness inwards now. Just bring some awareness to your breath, entering your nostrils, and allow your breathing to become deep, slow, and calm. So in abdominal breathing, we really want to enhance the action of the diaphragm here. So during the inhalation, the diaphragm moves downwards, pushing the abdomen out like a balloon. And during the exhalation, the diaphragm moves upwards and the abdomen inwards. So I invite you to just place your right hand on your abdomen now, just above where your navel is. And you can place your left hand over your chest. And just start to observe your breath without controlling it in any way. And as you inhale, feel the breath expand through the belly, flowing up to the heart and filling all the way up slowly to your collarbone. You can hold your breath. And on the exhale, feel the release come back down through the collarbone, the chest, the heart, down the abdominal, and drawing inwards. And just continue breathing slowly and deeply. And just notice as you inhale, we're really drawing the energy in, and we want to inspire our body to flow upwards. And that's really important when we're doing the physical practice. And on the exhalation, we want to release the energy downwards, connecting us to the earth. We can do a couple of rounds of this together. We're going to inhale for 4 breaths, and then we'll hold, and then we'll exhale for 4. So just release the breath now, and we'll do this together. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you're ready, you can start to open your eyes. You can release the hands and place them onto your thighs. So we're going to move on to a short practice now. So usually in Vinyasa yoga, the real focus is on movement with breath. So like I said there, on the inhalation, we're going to draw the energy up with movement, and on the exhale, we're going to come down and ground onto the floor. So yeah, just come into a seated position. As we're on chairs today, this is already a modified flow. So this can be done with people in wheelchairs, hospitals, it can be done at your desk, it can be done in bed, it really can be done anywhere. You can also do it on a mat, but it's, it's accessible to everybody. So before we start, just yeah, if you have any injuries or if you're feeling any tightness anywhere, just be really mindful of that this morning. It's first thing, some of us might not have moved properly yet, so just be mindful of your body this morning. And obviously it's online, so I can't adjust and see what you're all doing, but yeah, just be mindful. And if you're feeling any discomfort, please just don't push yourself. It's meant to be a nice slow flow this morning, so it should be nice and relieving of any tension that you might have. So I'm going to sit comfortably. You can place the hands, you can't really see me, can you? But I'll have to just instruct you. You can place the hands beside your thighs, or if it feels comfortable, you can bring your hands into prayer, Anjali Mudra, and just start to close your eyes. We've got feet grounded nicely on the floor, hip width apart. You can bring the toes up and just plant them down onto the floor. Draw the shoulders back. And just start to connect with the breath. Deep inhalation and exhalation. Okay, you can open your eyes. I'm just going to come into a few warm-up here. So we're just going to do some neck rolls. So on your inhale, you can place the right ear to right shoulder and draw the neck forward to the collarbone. Left ear to left shoulder. You can look up if that feels comfortable, or you can keep the gaze forward. And bring the right ear to right shoulder again. Down. Left ear to left shoulder. And back up to center. And we can change the direction of this now. So if you went to right, you go back to left now. Left ear to left shoulder. Draw the chin down to the chest. Right ear to right shoulder. Neck back. Left ear to left shoulder. Good. I'm going to come back to center. This time, you're going to place your right ear to right shoulder. You can take your right arm and place it onto your ear, and left arm to left shoulder. I'm just going to come into a gentle stretch here. If this is tender on the neck, you can just keep the head supported with your right arm. And you should feel a nice stretch here in the side of the neck and the shoulder. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come back to center, release the head slowly. And we'll do it on the other side here. So left ear to left shoulder, left arm onto right ear, right hand onto right shoulder. To a nice stretch. This is really good if you're sitting at a desk all day, or we look at our phones throughout the day, so neck can be very tender. Inhale, come back to center. I'm just going to do a few rotations of the shoulders here. So bring the shoulders up and around. And we can change direction, back the other way. Good. Come back to center. And as you inhale, you can bring the shoulders up to the ears, and exhale, you can do a big sigh, release. Inhale, come up. Exhale, sigh, release. Good. Okay, this time we're going to come into a few ankle bends, rotations. If you can't see me, but I might just move my chair. So you still can't see me, can you? There we go. So you can bring the right leg out in front of you. We're just going to come into a few extension and flexion of the ankle here. So point and come up. Inhale, down. Exhale, come up. Down. Up. Good. And then we can do some rotations here. So you can go clockwise. And then come back the other way. Good. Release the leg, pop the right foot back to meet the left, and bring the left leg out in front of you. And we're going to do the same on the other side now. So come up, exhale, point. Inhale, come up. Exhale, point. Inhale, come up. And we can rotate the ankle again, like we did on the other side. And go clockwise. And come anti-clockwise. Good. Release the foot, bring it back onto the other side, and we're just going to come into a side stretch here. So back into a comfortable seated position, feet hip width distance apart. As you inhale, bring the arms up. You can keep the gaze forward, and exhale, come down slowly. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come back down. Inhale one more time, come up. And as you exhale, you can bring the left hand down. I'm going to come into a side stretch here. So just nice and gently, we don't need to go too far. Kind of open up the chest here, keep the length in the spine. You can gaze up to the palm, or you can keep looking forward if that feels more comfortable. And exhale, come down back to center. Inhale, raise the left hand. And come into a side stretch here onto the right side. Keep breathing. Inhale. And exhale, come down slowly. Good. So this time we're going to come into some cat-cows, and you sit up nice and tall. Knees over the ankles. You can place the palms onto the thighs. And as you come into cat, we're going to lower the belly, draw the shoulders back and look up. That's it, good. And as you exhale, you're going to round through the spine, push the knees, and bring chin to chest. Good. Inhale, draw the belly down, shoulders back, look up. And exhale, come down. Inhale one more time, come up. And exhale, come down. Good, we're going to come back to center. So you might need a little bit of room now in front of you. We're just going to come into 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar, which is what we always start with in Vinyasa Yoga. And this is just to build up some heat in the body. Yeah, if you've got something in front of you, you might just want to move away from it, but you won't need too much space. You can place a cushion behind your back if that feels comfortable. I've got some books in front of me just as well in case I need them to prop me up. So we're just going to come into a comfortable seated position. You can close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Place your hands, palms beside you. This is called mountain pose. This is our shram pose. We always start from this position. And just check in with the breath here. Some rounds of inhalation and exhalation. Draw the shoulders back. Tuck in the tailbone. Spine lengthened. And as you inhale, extend the arms up. You can look up, or if your neck is tender, you can just keep looking forward. And you're going to feel the stretch here in the abdomen all the way up to the fingertips. And as you exhale, we're going to come forward slowly. So the abdomen is going to touch the top of the thighs, and we want to try and keep the spine lengthened. So you can come up onto your fingertips if your hands can't touch the ground, or I like to put a cushion in between my abdomen and my thighs just to give me a bit of length here. Going to look forward, keep breathing. Helps to relieve tension in the lumbar spine. And as you inhale, slide the palms up the thighs. You're going to bring your right knee into your chest. I've got a cushion in between my thigh and my chest here just to give me a bit of support. We want to keep the knee active, shoulders back. If you can't bring your knee all the way to your chest, you can just keep it out in front of you like this. Or you might have something in front of you to pop your foot on. Look back. And exhale, bring the knee to chest. If your neck is tender, please just look forward and relax the shoulders. Release the leg and release the hands. And we're going to inhale, come up. And exhale, hands back down to the side into Tadasana. Good, and we're going to do this on the other side now. So as you inhale, extend the arms, look up or in front if it feels comfortable. And exhale, forward fold. Come onto the fingertips. Inhale, slide the palms up. Going to bring the left leg here. Extend the left knee. Flex the left knee. Shoulders back, look forward. Release the leg slowly. And inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, come forward slowly. And inhale, come all the way back up now. Back to Tadasana. Good. Okay, this time we're just going to come into some stretches here just so we can end the practice. So come into a comfortable seated position. You're going to place the left hand onto the right knee. I'm going to come into a twist variation here. So you can use the right hand to just support yourself onto the chair. You can also bring the hand to the back of the chair if you want a bit more of a deeper stretch here, but just do what feels comfortable. And the twist is coming from the thoracic spine. So opening up the chest. You can keep the gaze to the back of the room or to the side, whatever's comfortable. Start to connect back with the breath. Inhale and exhale, come back to center. Good. I'm going to do this on the other side now. So inhale, you're going to put your right arm onto the left knee. Exhale into a side stretch here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale, come back to center. To end the practice, we're just going to connect back with the breath to close the eyes. Draw the shoulders down. You can bring your hands into prayer. That feels comfortable, or you can keep them on the knee. Just take some Deep inhalation and exhalation, connecting back with the breath. Just bringing some awareness back into the body. Before we go and start the day, just bring some gratitude to yourself today and your body for doing this practice. Thank you so much for practicing with me all today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Jessie. I'll stop spotlighting. I really enjoyed that. Thanks so much. It's just, we should all start the day like that, shouldn't we? I've been meaning to do yoga for the last couple of weeks. And when I actually do it, I absolutely love it. And I do think OT and yoga are just a perfect blend, aren't they? And so if you could share maybe your favourite article or something, Jessie, that you think we should all know about. Okay. And when we send out the certificate to everybody, and I've got everybody's name, so you don't need to put your email there. And so we'll send you out an article and a certificate. I'm going to pass over to Amy in a minute, who's going to spend the rest of the session talking about relaxation techniques, which hopefully is complimentary. If you haven't already, if you wouldn't mind putting your name in the chat and just say who you are, introduce yourself. This is all part and part of the growing OT community, moving occupational therapist community of practice. And we are a group of OTs from Sport for Confidence who are very clear that physical inactivity is very much our bag in occupational therapy, and we can use it in a multitude of different ways. And if you don't have time to connect with us in this session, we have a bi-monthly, we have a networking session as well, which we are hosting in the evenings. And so I'll keep you posted about that. But as time goes forward, we might introduce other things. So if you've got any ideas or want to be involved in any way with us, please contact me. I'll put my email in the chat. But yeah, I will pass now over to Amy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Liz. Right, I'll just get my presentation up. Can everyone see that? Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, today I'm going to speak to you about an easy read anxiety management guide that I created back in 2019. As Liz said, I currently work for Sport for Confidence. I'm working in a new specialist provision in primary care networks. And I mean, a quick background, I qualified in 2014 and have worked in mental health, learning disabilities across NHS, social care, charity and private sector. So what I hope to get out of today, sorry for you guys to get out for today, is as well as learn some techniques about anxiety management, is to look at how we can use easy read information and make things more accessible for the people that we work with. Learn some ways to create your own easy read information. Hopefully today you'll feel a little bit more confident to go and do that or try that. We will try some of the techniques in the guide and also think about, as occupational therapists, how these techniques might need to be adapted for the different people that we work with. And hopefully we'll have a little bit of time for sharing and reflection afterwards. If we don't, please feel free to contact me either by email, or I did have my Twitter handle on the first page. If any of you are on Twitter, that's my handle there if you'd like to have a conversation online. Okay, so a little bit of background about how the guide came about. I did create this guide in 2019. I was at home shielding actually with my son, which was quite an interesting experience. I know we all have lots of interesting experiences from lockdown. Um, and I was working at the time for a company in Essex called ECL. You will see their logo on the guide because I made it with them. But when we made it, it was very clear I wanted it to be free and accessible to the public, so anybody can access it and use it. So during that time, I was working in day centres, and the day centres were closed. They were only open to people who were, particularly high risk. So my kind of face-to-face to work stopped overnight, as I'm sure it did for many of you. There was one lady in particular that I was working with, but saw it with lots of people that I was working with, that their anxiety had become very exacerbated by the national lockdown. She had a learning disability and autism, and was finding the lockdown very difficult. And not everyone wanted to or could use the telephone or platforms like Teams or Zooms for sessions with me. And actually, it wasn't the best tool for some people. So lots of the people I was working with had mild to moderate learning disabilities, and actually it didn't suit their communication needs to interact in that way to support them with their anxiety. So I started to look around. I've used anxiety management techniques kind of throughout my career as an OT. So knew what I wanted to deliver, but wanted to find a way that I could support people without me being present. And I came across these two guides here. There's a link in the references which we can send out, which mostly focused on talking about what anxiety is and how you can manage it. But what I really wanted to find was a step-by-step guide to take people through some of the exercises. You'll see that one of the breathing exercises, some of them that we've just done now, the abdominal breathing, which I call belly breathing to make it a bit of an easier word, and the square breathing is in there. And having Jessie talk that through for us was lovely. So I wanted to create something that somebody with a learning disability would be able to follow the instructions. So that's kind of how the guide came about. So what is Easy Read information? So Easy Read aims to make information more accessible for people who have difficulties with the written word. Now, if we had longer, I could talk to you all day about making information accessible. Easy Read is just kind of one element of that, but that's what we're going to focus on today. So I've just got some tips here. If you do want to create an Easy Read document, then you should use clear, easy to understand pictures to support the words. And actually you'll see in my guide that I've used photographs because some people don't respond very well to pictures, some do. Some people respond much better to photos of people they're familiar with. So if you are creating a document, it's really important to kind of think about your audience. If you're making it for an individual, it might be worth speaking to their speech and language therapist and finding out what their preferences are and their keyword level and things like that. Your picture should always be on the left of the text. You should use a font size of at least 14. And if any of you send me an email, you'll see that all my emails are sent to Arial size 12, because that is a very good standard to make your emails easier to read for everyone, actually, whether or not they have a learning disability or difficulty. That's one good tip you can take away today. You can all go and set your emails to Arial 12. Align the text to the left. So try not to use the justification where the alignment kind of goes across the page, because that makes the spacing different between all the words, and that can be confusing for some people. Add extra space between lines. You'll see on all of my slides that the spacing is 1.5. Use colour coding. Use short, clear sentences. And the main one, and I think this is the hardest one, is avoid using jargon or hard words. I mentioned earlier that I call abdominal breathing belly breathing in my guide, because you could consider abdominal to be quite a hard word. In occupational therapy, I think we use lots of hard words. One example is participating, and instead you might say something like taking part. Or you might have some better ideas about how we could explain that hard word to somebody. And actually, when we go through the guide, I even looking at it yesterday, I spotted a few and I thought, oh, that's a hard word, that shouldn't be in there. So, you know, and I think really involve other people when you're working on something like this. I actually collaborated with Inclusive Communication Essex, because when I couldn't find anything, and it's kind of typical me, I thought, well, I'm gonna do it myself, but then thought, oh, I have quite a bit of knowledge here, but I don't have enough and I don't have the expertise. So I contacted Inclusive Communication Essex, and they were just amazing, helping me, which was really good. So adapting the guide and activities. So here I've said a picture's worth 1,000 words. And as I said, I wanted this step-by-step guide, and I was looking at lots of photo banks and easy read resources that I had, and I couldn't find anything to really describe what I wanted to do. So this picture of me here is, if you want to turn your mics, can anyone guess what I'm doing here?
Breathing out.
Breathing out, yeah. So I'm breathing out, but I'm actually doing pursed lip breathing. So I don't know if you can see my lips, but it looks like I'm blowing out a candle. And so that's what I'm trying to depict there. So I got a white sheet and I took my husband took lots and lots of photographs in the garden, and I sent it over to Inclusive Communication Essex, who edited the photos professionally for me and added animation to it so that it was much clearer. And some of the activities have been made a lot shorter. So one of the activities is guided visualization, which if you've ever delivered or taken part in it, is usually quite, you know, a lengthy process, maybe 20 minutes to half an hour. But actually, a lot of the people I was working with and people who might use this document wouldn't be able to, you know, tolerate or focus for that length of time. So the activities are much shorter than you might have seen in general use. And large photographs have been used in the guided visualization as well. But actually remembering that the concept of imagining a different place, so imagining you're on the beach or in the park, might be quite a difficult concept for someone who's not, you know, it's quite an abstract concept. So actually it might be that rather than trying to imagine somewhere, you just talk about something that's special to them. So that's kind of a few ideas, and maybe when we reflect we can think about other ways that they can be adapted. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the guide now. I'm just going to have to stop sharing that and go into the guide. I did have a link on the PowerPoint, but it's not working.
Just while you're looking, Amy, I think a few people did have their hands up earlier, and I think because I just looked like I was ignoring them, they now put them down. But it might be a good time if anybody does have a question, whether it was about Amy's or whether it was about Jessie's, whatever. You can raise your hand again, and we can answer anything now. Yes, I've got one, Emma.
Yeah, it was just I can't. It's not letting me access the chat, so I can't put my name or anything in there.
Oh, okay, no worries. Wonder why it's not letting you access the chat. Have you had that before? That's weird, isn't it?
I think it's because it kicked. I lost some signal, so I got removed. Like I came out of the thing, and now it's saying I'm not a participant, so I can't message in the
Emma,
chat.
will you do me a favour? Just you've got the Moving OT's email, have you?
Yeah.
Just email us, and I'll make sure a certificate gets to you.
Thank you.
Great.
Should I carry on, Liz?
Yeah,
back to you. Any other questions? Yeah. Okay, so this is the guide. Like I say, this is freely accessible online. After I created this, I did send it to the Learning Disability and Autism Forum for NHS England. And in order for them to kind of share it or approve it, they go through quite a stealthy process. So it was shared with people with a learning disability, psychologists, carers, and they were really happy with it. So if you do follow them on Facebook, they shared it internally on their group as a good resource, and I think they did tweet it. But yes, it is freely available, and I've had some lovely messages from people across the UK using it. My email address used to be on here, but it's not anymore because we had some issues with me, you know, being contacted in situations where I potentially was the wrong person to contact. So, but if you do use it and you have any feedback, please share it with me, because I love to hear how it's going and how it could be made better. So the guide includes, just gonna, before we start an activity, so here we've got the colour coding that we spoke about. So we won't do a breathing exercise because we've done those this morning. We've got the coloured coding. Maybe we'll do some grounding this morning. But this hard word here, acknowledgements, I spotted this yesterday and I thought really that should say thank yous. And maybe with a sign of someone saying thank you. But yeah, so if you spot any more hard words, do let me know. There's my lovely toes for progressive muscle relaxation. If you've not done progressive muscle relaxation before, I highly recommend it. We might have time, Liz, if we could do a short session of that. Actually, I actually fell asleep the first time I did progressive muscle relaxation, and I was a student and was quite concerned I was going to get in a lot of trouble, but I didn't. But I still use that technique today. If I can't sleep, I will. It's about tensing the muscles and releasing them, and really noticing the difference between your muscles feeling tensed and your muscles feeling relaxed. And that really helps me. So you'll see here I've got belly breathe.
I'm
Pardon,
interested
Liz?
I'm interested in progressive muscle
Well,
relaxation.
we'll do a little bit of that. We won't be able to maybe do a full session, but we can do it. But I just wanted to show you. So here's the belly breathing that we were doing earlier with the chest and the tummy. I have a sitting down one as well. So this was kind of us earlier with our hands on our chest and our tummy. That's me trying to show you that, you know, your tummy needs to rise above your chest. My pursed lip breathing. Now, if anyone can get a better picture of me holding your breath, please share it with me, because it's one of the hardest instructions to capture, holding your breath. We have our square breathing. So the grounding's a really useful one. Again, really linked to mindfulness. We've got a sheet here that people can write down or say them out loud. But you know, some people I've worked with, asking them to think of 5 things they can see, 4 things they can feel, and so on, is quite difficult. So it might just be that you think about what can you see, what can you feel, what can you hear, or it might be that you just home in on one of those senses for somebody. But that can be a really good technique to kind of bring someone, if they're feeling very anxious, just to bring them back to their surroundings and practice some mindfulness alongside the breathing. The guided visualization, again, you really need someone to read this script for you, and it's quite a nice group activity as well. We have some pictures here to go along. So this is at the beach, and really just focusing in on, again, the senses. So what can you hear at the beach? What can you see? What can you feel? What can you smell? We have the park. And then I've had a lot of people get in contact that they really like this page where you can insert your own photo. So it might be that you insert your safe place or your favourite thing, like a teddy or a blanket, and that you talk about that. Okay, progressive muscle relaxation. Right, we've got 10 minutes. If I spend 5 minutes on this, and then we can have some questions at the end. Again, normally I wouldn't rush through this, but should we give it a try? So ideally you'd want to be lying down, but we can do it sitting up. So, right, is everyone happy to do some progressive muscle relaxation? Okay, so if you sit back in your chair in a comfortable position, shut your eyes if you feel comfortable. And if we go back to that breathing that we were doing earlier, take a deep breath and feel your lungs and your belly fill up with air. Hold for a few seconds and breathe out slowly. And if we just continue that nice deep breathing, breathing in, holding and breathing out. While you continue to breathe, move your attention to your feet. And I want you to begin to tense your feet by curling your toes in the arch of your foot. And I want you to hold that tension and then let it go. And then I want you to tense again, curl your toes in the arch of your foot, hold and let it go. Now I want you to focus on the lower legs and I want you to tense your calf muscles for me. Hold and let go. Hold your calf muscles again and let them go. And remember to keep taking those slow, deep breaths. Now, I want you to tense the muscles in your upper legs and your bottom. And you can do this by squeezing your thighs together. You to hold and let it go. Tense again, hold and let it go. Keep breathing nice and deeply and slowly. And now I want you to tense your stomach. So pull your belly button in, hold and let it go. Pull your tummy muscles in again, hold and let it go. Now I want you to tense the muscles in your back by shrugging your shoulders and hold them as tightly as you can without straining. Hold and let it go. Tense the shoulders again, hold and let it go. And I want you to notice how different your body feels when you let it go and you relax. We'll do that one more time. So tense the shoulders, hold and let it go. Now I want you to tense your arms, so keep your arms out flat, all the way from your hands to your shoulders. So make a fist and squeeze all the way up your arm. Hold and let it go. And again, tense your arms, squeeze those hands all the way up to your arms. Hold and let it go. And the last one, sorry, second from last, we're going to tense your face by screwing up or making a really silly face. So just make your face really tense. Furrow those brows and let go. And again, tense your face, hold and let it go. Now I want you to sit back comfortably and I want you to remember all those muscles we tensed and I want you to try and tense them all at the same time without straining. Okay, so tense all those muscles we focused on today. Continue your breathing and then relax. I'm going to do that one more time. So focus on all those muscles we've tensed today. Tense them all at the same time. Hold and let go. Now, hopefully, I want you to feel relaxed and that feeling that your body has gone all floppy and that there's no tension. So if you just continue your breathing And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and we'll come back into the room in a minute. Take your time and enjoy the feeling of relaxation. Right, that was a very rushed version of progressive muscle relaxation, but I hope that gave you an idea of how it works. And hopefully you can have a look back at the photos as well to see how we tried to explain that to people. So I'll just go back to my presentation. We're nearly done and then we'll have some time. So I am quite aware that I really skipped over accessible information. So I've just got here for if you want to continue your learning about Easy Read or how you can make your information more accessible for people. There is some free online training on the e-learning for healthcare, all about the accessible information standard. NHS England has information and there is an Easy Read version, again available on, I think that's on the Gov website, but the link's on here, which I can send out. Also, if you are on Twitter, keep an eye on Health Watch England, who on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, have sent an open letter to NHS England. They are very disappointed that the accessible information standard hasn't been reviewed and that people still aren't able to access information in the way they should be. So they are calling on them, amongst other charities like MenCap, to urgently review that document. So that might be a conversation that you're interested or want to get involved in. So please follow them. And there we go. We have some time to reflect now. I can't see anyone.
I'm not sure we have like loads of time to reflect. We've got 1 minute.
Okay, any questions? Any questions?
I just want to say first, thank you, Amy, for your part there. That was just brilliant. And it's so we've got such an important role, haven't we, in OT, to make activities accessible. And so that's a really good example of how we can utilise our skills. So thank you. If people do need to rush off but have questions, you know that you can contact us. But if anybody does want to ask anything now, then I can stay around for a little bit anyway if people need to go.
Me too.
And
maybe just, I think my reflection after, bringing this all together again after kind of having written it 4 years ago now and being here at Sport for Confidence is that actually, with movement does come rest. And we need to support people to move, but we also need to support people to rest and to relax and hopefully help them with their anxiety as well. So yeah. And I'll share, Liz, I'll get the link for you to share out with everyone to the guide so that everybody can access it and my references.
Brilliant. Yeah, I was going to ask that, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Just to note then that the networking sessions where there is the next networking session will be in March. There'll be a lot more time to connect with each other and chat about things. And it's the last Wednesday of every other month. So the next session is on the 22nd of March. We have planned it for 6 o'clock in the evening. We might be moving it to 7, but I will send round an email to everybody on the community of practice list to let you know. The next CPD session that we're going to have next month, so the next one of these sessions, we're going to focus on a model called prevention and enablement. And we've just released a report today, and I am going to send it to everybody on this list. I hope it will be of interest to absolutely every occupational therapist, because it's a really significant piece of work it's part of Sport England's local delivery pilot, and Sport for Confidence and the occupational therapy work has really been highlighted through this report, and how we've played our part in supporting people to increase their physical activity, and also how we've worked using a whole system approach. And so it will hopefully be of interest to every level of occupational therapists. And so please read that, and I'd read the detail of it because the summary doesn't highlight just how important the OT role has been within it. But please, I know I keep on saying it, it's like I'm desperate for you all to contact me. But this is what it's all about, is actually connection. If you do read the report, please share it with managers, bosses, directors, and we are happy to talk about it. And so contact us. Great, thank you, Amy. So yeah, end of session, I guess. Thank you all for coming. Nice to sort of see you, and hopefully connect another time.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. You're still highlighted, Amy. Or do you want to stop sharing your
Oh,
screen?
sorry, I didn't realise I was still
It's
sharing.
all right. Oh, is Jessie still on? Oh, Jessie. Oh, thanks, Jessie, so much for your part. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I'll send you some articles,
Yeah.
Liz, and you can forward them onto people to have a read.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll talk to you separately, Jessie, but I was thinking, because we're creating like a learning arena as part of our work at Sport for Confidence. And on that learning arena, we're hoping to host not just teaching from us, but teaching from other people, and maybe just sort of snapshots of like maybe an introduction to OT and yoga. So I'm wondering whether we could at some point put together a short workshop. And then that, I don't know if you're doing other teaching sessions, but there could also be, a link to whatever else you're doing. And so I'll contact you about that if you're all right with that.
That'd be great. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah,
Brilliant.
wonderful. Thanks so much.
Thank
Got to go to
you.
work now.
Yes.
Thank you,
Proper work.
Jessie.
Enjoy your
Bye
day.
now.
Bye.
See you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jessie.
Bye.
And yeah, thanks for your bit, Amy. It's great.
Was it all right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
promise.
Yeah.
I promise it was. Yeah.
Yeah, progressive muscle relaxation is not meant to be that quick, but I thought it's nice to try it out. So
Everybody knows that, and it's a really just nice. It's a nice intro, isn't it, to it? Yeah.
Amy, do you have a recording of it at all? I've actually been recommended it by one of my consultants, and I thought yours was the best I've heard to date. Actually, yeah.
So on the guide, there is a link to some videos. But what I did with Inclusive Communication Essex is, I'll see if they've still got them. I recorded some, like the photo books you can get, like for communication tools. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah.
And I recorded, so with each picture there was a recording of me going through the process. I can record it for you if you want, Andy.
Well, I don't know. I wonder if many participants would be very interested in.
Yeah, it's something I'd really like to bring to Sport for Confidence, is that kind of those elements of those types of sessions, because mostly because it's more my expertise than moving around, because I'm not the most physical person in the world. But I'm going to speak to Inclusive Communication Essex this week, so I'll ask him if he's still got copies of them, and it might be that he can loan some out to Sport for Confidence and one for you, Andy.
Oh, great.
It's normally for people in Essex, but I reckon I can get it posted up to you.
Wonderful.
But yeah, there are some links on the guide, Andy, to some you can get, like on YouTube, people who will talk you through it. You just have to find a voice that isn't too, annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. I'm glad it went well. Thank you.